Don't look at me, Ducky. I can't think straight when you look at me. Happy New Year! Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel and welcome to my 2025 reading goals, potentially the first video of my post-Bookmas set of videos. I actually saw tons and tons of great Bookmas videos during the holidays coming from Shuba, Jesse, Chris, and also Melanie. So I really wanted to join in on the fun, so I decided might as well just extend the joy all the way past December and into January. So for the next 12 days, I want to say there will be a new video every day, but I might be a little delulu considering the fact that I only have 3 videos technically filmed, but not even edited yet. So will I actually be able to successfully pull this off? Very debatable, but as long as I get these videos up by January 31st, I will call that a win. So without any further ado, let's head right on to my video, which is going to be talking all about my 2025 reading goals. Now on the screen, you guys should be able to see my 2025 goals bingo card along with its corresponding checklist. This is actually a small preview of my 2025 reading spreadsheet that I will have a full-fledged video on. So definitely make sure to check back sometime this month so that you guys can see my 2025 reading spreadsheet and get a copy of your own as well. But now let me talk a little bit about my little bingo card and the checklist. The bingo card and the checklist go hand in hand. They are the same set of goals. They go hand in hand. One is just a visual way of seeing it, gamifying it, and one is just a literal list. So I could go through and check it off more easily and also note down the date I completed it, also along with which books. And I really like the bingo card aspect of it because it really allows me to gamify it a little bit, put a little bit of ease onto myself instead of just seeing a bunch of checklists and not knowing where to start. Whereas with the bingo card, I'm gonna try to get my first bingo ASAP. So I'm gonna head right into the list and try to see if I could get 5 across anywhere, 5 diagonal, 5 horizontal, 5 vertical, etc., etc. And after I finish my very first set of bingo, I'm gonna go in again and try to accomplish another set of bingo. By gamifying it, it just works with my mind a little bit easier, a little bit better than just looking at a checklist and crossing them off as I go. All my basic thought process aside on how I'm going to tackle these goals, let's head right into my 24 goals for 2025. My very first goal for 2025 is going to be participate in more reading groups. I had such a blast participating in the LMA book club last year. This year, I've met so many more booktubers and so many of them have started or already have their own bookish reading club. So this year, I really want to participate in them. I enjoy the act of talking with spoilers with other people. I really enjoy having people to talk about the books with and delve deeper into the meaning of the books, what the book is trying to say, and also just what every single one of us thought about these books. I love hearing people's different opinion, and I feel like it aids in my own perspective and in my own opinion about what the book could be about how I feel about the book, and all that good things. So the criteria to check this off in my goal is to participate at least 1 month in each of these 5 reading groups. The first reading group I'm going to be continuing to participate in is going to be the LMA Book Club here on BookTube. The next 3 reading groups are going to be on Fable, and they are from booktubers that I have been following here on BookTube. The first one being Shuba, secondly is going to be Brooklyn, and lastly is going to be Sully. And the final book club that I'm going to be participating in is actually hosted on Discord by Maria Andrea. So I will also be on Discord participating in the book club with her as well. So 5 book clubs in total, 1 on BookTube, 3 on Fable, and 1 on Discord. I am so excited to join them on their reading journey and just be able to talk about books with spoilers in real time. I will have all their information and their book club details down in the description, so feel free to follow them there as well. And let's move on to the second kind of tangentially related goal that I have for 2025, and it is to attend an in-person book club meeting. In a similar note as to what I mentioned previously, I just want to attend a book club to discuss my thoughts and feelings about a book, get more insight on other people's perception of the book and what they thought about the book. And last but not least, by attending an in-person book club meeting, I want to be able to find more friends that have a similar interest and a similar hobby as mine, aka reading, in my local area, in my town, in my city, just so that we can meet up and just talk about books in general. I think making some friends in the area like that would also be very nice. So that is going to be one of my top priority for my goals in 2025. Moving on to the next set of goals, the next three will be all about representations in books. As I said in my end of the year book tag, I mentioned that I want to be more aware and diverse in my reading. And I feel like by specifically having these goals in mind for 2025, I will be more aware about what I pick up and read more into the author and characters and recognize that I do read a lot of representation book or not. Either way, it will give me my own knowledge, my own personal knowledge of where I stand to be more aware of these representations in book moving forward. So the three representations I have here in my goals is 1, BIPOC representation, 2, LGBTQ representation, and 3, neurodivergent representation. These are going to be their own individual goal. So a book can have multiple representation, but in 2025, I want to read at least one book that falls under these representations, meaning that the book has characters that showcase these representations, the author who falls under these representation, or a book that discusses and talks about these representation. So this is probably a pretty easy goal to accomplish, especially since I'm trying to, again, diversify my reading, and I'm getting a lot of recommendations from other booktubers on what to read. And I feel pretty confident in being able to check off these 3 representations very early on in the year. Moving on to goals 6 through 8, we're going to start talking about authors' backlog. In 2024, I have found so many amazing new authors who have become my favorite authors, and as such, I need to read all of their books. I want to read all of their backlogs. So here are 3 authors that I have on top of my radar in 2025 to complete their entire backlog of. The first one up is Frederick Bachman. I am kicking myself for not reading his books sooner because I really like his writing style. I really like his wit, the suspense, and the slight mystery aspect of how things are led to a certain point. I really like his dry sense of humor, the wit in his books. I can't believe that I only started reading him in December. And just in December alone, I finished Beartown, Us Against You. I'm 70% of the way in Anxious People and about 10% in of the way of the Winners. So I'm just saying that somehow I managed to devour so many of his books in such a short amount of time that I genuinely think that if I have found him sooner in 2024, his backlog would have already been completed. Next up, we have R.F. Kuang. I finished the Poppy War trilogy from her, and it is currently, I want to say, my favorite series that I have read so far. And I really like the way she interweaves some of her social commentary and her perspective on life and some of the history aspect into the Poppy War. And I have heard that she does the same with her other books, such as Babel and Yellowface. So I'm really invested and interested in seeing how those books plays out. I do hear mixed reviews on Yellowface and Babel and her as an author on and off with how heavy-handed she is with her writing. But I am really curious to see how her writing fares in the newer books and just how heavy-handed she is in these stories and her perspective on them. I'm just curious to see how she writes and how she interweaves these commentaries that she has into her writing. So I'm excited. I'm a little bit nervous, but I'm still excited. And if I end up just not liking her newer works, I don't have to finish the entire backlog. The whole point of reading the backlog is to really solidify who they are as an author for me, and that's why I have them on this list. And finally, we have Emily Henry. In 2024, I actually read 3 books from her, and they were all 4 stars or above. I really enjoy her characterizations. I really feel like these characters are lived-in characters where they're just not there for plot devices. When you read these characters, you can see them really being human beings out in the real world, that you could meet these people at any moment. And I really enjoyed that in her writing. Now, I believe I am missing 2 of her big books, which is People We Meet on Vacation and Book Lovers. I do believe she has some lesser known books as well, and I think those will be lesser priority than Book Lovers and People We Meet on Vacation. So I'll definitely get around to those as well this year. depending on how I enjoy book lovers and people we meet on vacation. And the criteria to check off these goals is simply to read the backlog, and whether I DNF it or not, as long as I make it through them and made a decision on the backlog itself, then it's considered marked off. So let's say I somehow find out that I don't like older Emily Henry books, I will just mark it as DNF'd and move on from it. That puts us at 8 out of 24 goals. Now, the next set of goals I have is all about the books themselves. I think these are pretty self-explanatory. I will mark them off once I complete the action that the goal states. So I have a handful of goals that just surround the type of books that I want to read in 2024. So I'm just going to quickly rapid fire and read them off of my list. One is read 3 mystery or thrillers. I am really trying to find one that I enjoy. Read 3 nonfictions so I can expand my reading palette a little bit more. Read a book in Vietnamese. Read a classic book that's commonly assigned in school or academic settings. So these books tend to be more literary and have social commentary. I want to read these to just expand my knowledge, try to think and figure out why these were assigned to us in English classes. The next one is a fairly easy one, which is read a book over 500 pages, a little bit of a mindless goal, so I could just easily cross it off in my bingo sheet the minute I read a book over 500 pages. On the opposite side of that, I want to read a short story. And finally, I want to read a book in 2025. So the set of goals is just basically trying to expand my reading range, stretch out my mind a little bit, and force me to choose outside of my comfort zone. So normally I would only gear towards romance book. Hopefully with these set of goals in mind, I can kind of stretch out and dabble into other types of books as well. Moving on to goal 16, and it is something I am determined to do better in 2025, and it is to DNF more books. I don't understand why I delude myself into thinking that I will finish the book if I have put it on pause since February. Like, tell me why I really thought I was going to finish The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, because it wasn't until I watched some people's videos talking about DNFing books that I was like, they're right. I should just stop. I should just DNF it. Like, I need to stop being so delulu about the fact that I was going to finish it, because I wasn't. So I'm going to give it to about the 100-page mark for all my books. And if I'm really not feeling it, I think I'm just going to force myself to DNF it. And that's something that I'm hoping to do more in 2025. Now, the next set of goals are going to be a little bit more on the challenging side of things. And I think these will take me a little bit more time to actually accomplish, rather than just picking a book that satisfies the condition for the bingo card slot. These are more like challenges that might need to be done across a period of time. So the very first challenge slash goal I have for myself is to reread 3 books. I feel like if I don't set out a time or a specific goal to reread books, I don't see myself actually doing it. So in 2025, I am adding a goal to reread at least 3 books this year, whether they are books from my childhood or maybe simply a book that I read in 2024 that I really enjoyed, which is probably going to be Beartown. I already want to reread Beartown so bad, just to track the timeline of the characters and where they are, because his writing style is magnificent. I absolutely love the way he follows individual people in a seamless timeline. It's absolutely fascinating, and maybe it'll give me some more thought process in how he writes his books. The next challenging goal I have for myself is to complete 3 series that I have rolled over in 2024. So in 2024, I read a handful of series, but I don't think I have completed many of them. This does not count the ongoing series, aka the series that are currently being published. I'm specifically talking about the series that have already been published, completed, and I can actually complete them. The goal is to actually complete 3 of them. I don't actually need to complete them, because if at any point or at any book, if I read it and I see that it is a point to be DNF, I will DNF it. And that will still count towards completing the 3 series from 2024. Because either way, I have decided to not continue on with the series, or I have completed the series. This is just my way of speeding up the timeline a little bit, reorganizing my TBR a little bit to prioritize books in a series that are already completed, so that I would read the books more closely together and not like book 2 in 2024 and then book 3 in 2027 or something like that. And again, on a similar theme as to diversifying my read a little bit, I want to participate in at least one reading challenge in 2025, aka just join a booktuber on a reading challenge that they have. Generally, when you join these reading challenges, it exposes you to more literature and more books outside of your comfort zone. And that's the goal I have when I want to join these reading challenges. I have two in mind for 2025 as of right now. One is the LMA's Book Club Diversity Bingo for 2025, and the second being Curious Cat's Neuro November. I wasn't able to participate in Neuro November last year because I was just so unfamiliar with neurodivergent in general. And that's why this year I'm making all the plans, I'm prepping ahead, I'm watching all the people's videos of those who participated in to get some inspiration and insight on where to dabble my feet into. So those are the top two I have on my mind. I don't know if I'll participate in any other one just because I have to be honest, 1 month reading challenges are a little bit hard for me if I don't prepare or if it's not known ahead of time because I do a lot of my reading through the library. So it does really come in waves and I need at least like, I want to say 3 to 4 weeks notice because I don't know if I'll be able to get the book in time. And finally, what I think is going to be the hardest challenge in 2025 is to tackle my reading cart TBR. I have not counted how many books I have on this reading cart as of yet, but my goal in 2025 is actually to clear out this reading cart by 80%. So from my guesstimate with my eyes, I want to only have 5 books on this reading cart. I really want to start reading the books I have on hand right now because otherwise they'll just be collecting dust. This might be a pretty hard challenge and I feel like honestly, this might be the most difficult one for me to accomplish, considering the fact that on top of wanting to read this set of books, I also want to read the set of books that are coming in through my Libby app as well. So it'll be a nice challenge to balance between both my physical read and also my library reads. And now we are on our final 4 goals for 2025. These goals kind of correspond to my reading habits. And the first one up is literally a reading habit, and it is to read every day for a single month. I've accomplished this in 2024 in April and in May, so I'm not really concerned about actually accomplishing this, but it would be nice to keep it in the forefront of my mind of actually checking off and reading at least 10 to 20 minutes a day just to train my focus in a little bit longer. I definitely suffer from distraction a lot. And with reading, I feel like it has really helped mend my mind almost to help me be able to focus on a specific task, a specific thing a little bit longer. So by making it a habit, I'm just hoping that it will get better from there. My next goal in 2025 is to actually read from debut authors. I'm pretty sure in 2024, I did not read any books from debut authors at all. I was just getting to know what my reading habits are, what kind of books I like, what genres I like, what writing style I like. It was just me learning about myself and re-exploring my joy for reading. So I wasn't too focused on the kind of authors or the kind of books I was reading. I was just trying to see what I liked. Now, at the end of 2024, now it's 2025, I feel like I have a better grasp as to what I enjoy and what I like. And from this, I want to explore debut authors. I want to see how debut authors write. I want to be able to experience the first time reading and finding out an amazing author all on your own. So in 2025, that's going to be a huge goal of mine, just to find some debut authors that released a book that interest me and experiencing the enjoyment of that author firsthand without any of the social media influence and recommendation over me. I think that would be pretty nice and give me a little bit more of a personal perspective on what I think makes a good author with good writing. So that's a 2025 goal as well. Moving on to my second to last goal, I need to get out of the house more, meaning I want to read outside of my house, whether it's at the park or at a coffee shop where I just buy a cup of coffee, sit down, read, go to the library, sit down and read. I don't think I willingly did that in 2024 at all, or purposefully did that in 2024. There were moments where I did it, but I don't think I truly made the decision to go do it. It just so happened that, oh, I had my Kindle at the time and I'm not doing anything, so I sat down and I read. This year, though, I do want to change it a little bit and go out and read more, mostly because I need to touch grass. I need to get some sun in me. I have been cooped up for a little bit too much, and I feel like it's just a good way to get fresh air. So 2025 goal is just to get out there, read at a coffee shop, read at a park, read at the library, somewhere that's just not in the four corners of my apartment. Because I actually don't have super comfortable reading spaces aside from my bed and the couch. And finally, my last goal is going to be doing another buddy read. I had so much fun with my buddy reads in 2024 that I have to carry it over for 2025. In fact, not even carry it over. I made it a goal to reach out to people to do buddy reads because they were just so much fun. And I thoroughly enjoy everyone's reaction and opinion and thoughts on the books. And I love our ability to chat back and forth, back and forth, back and forth right away on exactly what we thought was happening in a specific instance of a book, and then getting their unfiltered opinions and views in response to what we said and what we thought of it. So 10 out of 10, I highly recommend you doing it if you have never done it before. I think on my radar right now, every time I see a booktuber talk about a book that I am interested in reading, I always leave a message, be like, hey, if you're interested in reading these books, I'm also interested in reading them. If you want to buddy read them together, let's do it. And more often than not, everyone is super receptive to it. They are super friendly and they're like, heck yes. So again, 10 out of 10, highly recommend you saying that. If you ever want to buddy read anything with me, if you ever hear me talk about a book, definitely let me know. I would definitely be more than open to do a buddy read with you all. And that concludes my 2025 reading goal. I hope this video helped you in setting up your goals if you are still looking for goals to set up in the new year. If not, let me know down in the comment section what goals you have for 2025. I'm really curious as to what you have in mind for 2025, so maybe I can steal them for inspo in 2026. But with that, that is it for this whole video. I'm going to keep it short, keep the outro short, because I do need to get editing this and uploading it ASAP for tomorrow. So I'm going to stop here. Thank you so much for watching my video. If you guys enjoyed this content, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you hopefully tomorrow for a new video. Bye.